All right, everybody. All right, everybody. This is Daniel McCrae with CounselMore, and today we are with two of our star super users, Mark Gray of Odyssey College Prep and Lee Norwood of Annapolis College Consulting. Welcome, guys. Today, I wanted to get your insights in terms of what it's like to be in the independent educational consulting business, what it's like to be an independent college counselor. Uh, and you guys have been in the business for a little bit now, and you guys have come a long way and really developed quite a business for each of yourselves. Lee, I'd like to start with you. What was it like coming into the business, and why did you choose to come into this business?
Well, thanks. And thanks for having us on. I love this
Sure.
business and I love CounselMore. It's really helped me grow. I'm an ex pharmaceutical rep. So I hated every minute of that. Great job. Hated every minute of it and was really looking to do something where I had freedom and I could be outside of the box. I was in a highly regulated industry. It just wasn't for me. I tripped into this accidentally and met the woman who started Annapolis College Consulting. I saw it as a tremendous opportunity for me to be able to work from wherever I want to and
Hmm.
really help kids. I speak teenager. I love high school kids. They're probably my favorite age group. So yeah, I mentored with her and did a little, nights and weekends, and she taught me the business. And I jumped in with both feet. And I have never, ever, ever looked back. I absolutely love it.
Hmm. Great. Any particular obstacles or roadblocks you kind of ran into in the beginning that you were, that you had to handle and deal with that you saw it's like, oh my, do I really want to get into this business? And you got through that, and here you are. Can you talk about any kind of challenges you found?
Sure. My challenges weren't in support systems. I joined IECA and HECA. The people are phenomenal. Everyone is really super helpful. I went to like a summer training institute. So there were a lot of people eager to help. I think my challenge was in systems because I bought a company that was doing like 8 to 10 students, helping 8 to 10 students a year. And I needed that to grow. I needed that to grow because I needed it to be income. This is not a second business or a side hustle for me. This is my jam. And I needed to match what I was making in pharma. And so just figuring out how to be organized, how to grow and multiply that business. And that came from a lot of different directions, how to manage the students that we have, how to get new students, how to market myself. So those were the things that I looked at as a challenge. Marketing's not hard for me. The organization of how to keep people moving down the road towards a successful, college application experience was my challenge. So I was looking for a customer management system, and I met Margaret by accident, just kind of looking through things. We became fast friends, and let me just tell you, I probably still only use the system CounselMore at about 80% of what it's capable of. But I have 36 kids now of my own and three other people on my team, a multi-counselor team. So, the growth has been exponential, but really finding out how I was going to manage that and putting systems into place was my biggest hurdle.
Right, right, yeah. So you're referring to Margaret Rothie, of course, our chief product specialist and platform specialist, I assume, right? So that's great. That's a lovely story. So Mark, how about you? How did you come into the business, and what particular challenges that you had to work with to get to where you are now?
You bet. I have been in the college prep uh game for about 10 years in some capacity. I started out in test prep. I had my own test prep firm, and with a lot of the clients that I worked with, a lot of them don't want to they want to keep the same people. If you get into a client's a family, a student's, kind of circle of trust, the more services you have, the more value you can give those families. And so I started getting a lot of requests for essays, help with the application process. And I'd done some of that in college. So I started doing that more. Um, the real value that CounselMore was to me whenever I was starting as a new IEC, and I encounter this with a lot of new independent educational consultants, is they feel that they have to like know verbatim like all this data for every single college. And while that's important, it's good to know your stuff and to know things about the institutions that your students are applying for. CounselMore really does a lot of that for you. It keeps a lot of the data in a nice organized, data set, and allows me to focus more on how to best serve my clients as opposed to, knowing every bit of encyclopedic knowledge on every institution that they apply for. As far as challenges, that was a lot of it for me. I felt whenever I first started, I felt like I didn't know enough about the thousands of colleges in the US, which is again kind of what CounselMore helped me do. We have a monthly mentorship meeting that I host now. And any new IEC can go there. They can ask questions, hear from experts, learn of the different niches and specialties in the industry. And so really the challenges was like getting a mentor and getting plugged into the community, and CounselMore has been really helpful in that regard.
Great, great. Yeah, I've certainly heard that from other counselors that I've worked with as well. So I wanted to hear from you. So, you talked about the platform, you talked about, tapping into the community and getting some mentoring within the CounselMore community. Lee, how have you, accessed that and maybe leveraged that to grow your business, but also it seems to me maybe make it, an enjoyable experience as you go along your path?
So are you asking me about my overall process? Is that the question?
Yeah, and just your overall process and your overall experience with the CounselMore community that it provides outside of its platform.
Well, like everything in life, and especially in this business, things are ever changing. I started with CounselMore 3 years ago, and I got the assignments built in. So I had my notes from my mentor, but I also had assignments built into CounselMore. So over the last 3 years, I've kind of created a hybrid between what was already there, well worded, but maybe not always in my voice, and what I found was the most important. So, I mean, it's still ever changing. But the nice thing is that our assignments and our routine assignments, they're set, and you can go in and edit them for your own voice. If I have another counselor who maybe doesn't use the same wording I do, etc. But at the end of the day, you have a successful business when you're able to replace yourself. And as the owner, I want to be able to replace myself. I want to be able to go to Hawaii for 2 weeks and have everyone on my team be able to handle my students. So we have a plan, we have a roadmap, we all are using the same kind of skeleton, even though we're able to tweak it and make it our own. So by no means am I done. Every year we're constantly adding new or changing some of those routine assignments, but the base of what needs to get done A to Z to get a student successfully through the process is kind of built in there. And that was so helpful to me, because I didn't want to go try to recreate it over here in Excel and over here in another program. It's like all there, right down to our automated emails that go out. So what my team loves is that no matter who's working with them, there are automatic emails that go out to the families that are in our family of business that go out timely every year at the same time. None of us need to think about it. It just goes. There's certain milestones that are never going to change. And then there's milestones that are. So the ones that are never going to change, that stuff happens automatically. So now even my counselors, when they bring in new students, they know I've taken off their plate just those nudges and those reminders and those never changing things that happen as we go through the process.
Right,
It's been really
right.
cool.
Awesome, awesome. And Lee, remind me how many, if you don't mind me asking, how many students do you currently manage? Do you work with?
So I have 36 seniors, class of 2024 right now,
Mhm.
and I have to stop. That is kind of like my limit. And then as a company, we have about 52, class of 2024. I've chosen to not do hourly. That's just not my bag. I don't know. I don't have a dimmer switch. I don't want to check hours. It's not my thing, but I have people on my team who are willing to do hourly. We are willing and we are able to reach more clients where they are based on financial, et cetera, by having different team members that have different expertise. So yeah, we're rocking and rolling, and it's kind of unbelievable, and it's so super fun. And I always tell people, CounselMore for the client is like, you know, when you go bowling and you pull the sides up and so you can't throw a gutter ball. That's what CounselMore does for our students. You're not going to throw any gutter balls. We're going to keep you going down the alley, and I'm going to try to get you throwing strikes. But it also does the same thing for me, because it's just got built-in reminders, and just all of that stuff allows me to maybe work with more clients that would be comfortable for some people. But I think it's all whatever your comfort level is.
Right, right. One thing you tapped on that I want to ask both of you about is what we at CounselMore talk about or categorize as developing your repeatable process, right? Any business needs a system, right? A process that they can tap into and leverage every day of their operations. So you talked about how you were doing that in your business. Mark, can you speak to that a little bit in terms of how you've developed either with or maybe outside of the CounselMore platform, but what has been your systems and your repeatable processes that you've been able to develop?
You bet. So similar to what Lee said, I found that when I got in and started messing around and creating all the integrations that CounselMore offers with my business, the scheduling and the messaging was just really, really, really helpful. Like, I'm a consultant. I'm not an event coordinator. And scheduling and sending reminders to kids and my students, if that was all on me, it just wouldn't get done. I can't remember to do all those things. So again, having almost like a built-in virtual assistant to do all that is really wonderful. What I have found, particularly starting out, whenever I started out, is, you know, to be a trustworthy provider of a service, you really have to demonstrate authority, but you also have to demonstrate empathy. I find that IECs do really well at demonstrating empathy, but demonstrating authority and credibility, first off, can be very difficult. And that's what CounselMore, or one of the cool things that CounselMore does, it shows the client that you have a system and a plan to provide value to their kids and to solve problems, right? Like when you seek a guide or an expert, you know, you want a plan. Like Luke went to Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan has a plan, right? And CounselMore goes a long way to, just with all the systems and the integrations and the way that it fits in with your student and your business, it goes a long way to enhancing that credibility and authority that you have as an IEC.
Great, awesome, well said. Well, I want to thank you both for coming on today and speaking your minds and providing all this insight into the business and into your processes and systems. Yeah, I wanted to maybe go back to you a little quick. Is there any particular other insights you might offer somebody coming into this business, or somebody in their, say they're like their first year or so?
All right, that is really a hard question to answer.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I actually mentor some people through utilizing CounselMore, because what I like about our community is that, you know, we are meeting on those monthly events that Mark hosts, and we have some accelerator programs. So we're getting to take this. I work in a silo, but I've got all these connections out there that can help me being able to tap in to those people. So I say tap into those people, and then I help people figure out CounselMore all the time. The help desk is there all the time. I will tell you that the knowledge base is so good, and I have to remind myself to go there before I ask anybody for help, because it really is, it's all built in to make you successful. So my advice would be, read the manual or use the knowledge base, go through the training, and then reach out to the community, because we're all here. And I give a couple hours a month back to CounselMore, training IECs on that just base IEC level, like put the tech over here. Let's just talk about what you need. Done is better than perfect. Jump in and go.
How about you, Mark? What kind of insights can you provide for somebody that's coming into or is new in the business?
Sure. I know for me, it was all about differentiating my brand from other people, and other people in my community. Like, everyone can do things with a college essay. That's like a standard thing that every IEC can do. For me, I found that my clients really wanted a one-stop shop. They wanted a place where they didn't have to go to all these different places to get a bunch of services done, whether it's test prep, essay guidance, college list building. And then two, whatever it is that you can do to like establish yourself as like a different brand, like integrate those systems in with your CounselMore account and make it part of your business. And that's what you market. For me, it was aptitude testing. And then also, this is a lot to say for like someone on their first year, but like, how do I put this? Like, building a network, as Lee mentioned, is super duper important. Whether you've been doing this for 10 years or 1 year, there's just not, like, there's no way that you're going to know every facet of the industry. And so building a network is a neat way to establish authority and credibility without necessarily having to know everything. If a parent calls me and asks me to help them get their student to be like a first string player at a D1 school, I'm going to say, my expertise end where that question started. I'm going to refer you to one of my colleagues, or if a person says, I really want to get into the best art program in the world, I'll say, hey, we will do your essays. We will help you with this and this and that, but I'm going to refer you to my friend, such and such as well to get guidance. Again, by making a concession that you don't know something, you actually build the credibility that you have a team and that you're plugged in. And I think CounselMore does a really good job at kind of connecting us together so that we can all, benefit from each other's expertise.
I like that. Well said. Well said. Well, thank you both again for coming on and providing your insights and providing your expertise. We will be in touch with you, and I'm sure we will get more insights from you in the future. Thanks again. Thanks, Mark. And thank you, Lee. We will talk to you guys soon.